Hello sales team, I'm back with more videos. Happy New Year. Thank you for all the hard work for last year. So for fiscal 17, let's get right into it. I sent around an email that everybody should have gotten around new sales stages and new sales process. And I'm sure a lot of you are reading that going, Lee, what are you doing? Why are we doing this? So I always like to try and explain when we have big process changes, why we're doing things. So first off, this is gonna be easier, right? So we went from 9 sales stages, we took out 3, we're down to 6. This should make it easier, also more accurate. The reason we use sales stages is to understand where everybody is in their opportunity. So I can look at a 50% or I can look at a 75%, and without having to ask, I know certain things have been done. And we'll get into that when we go through this. But it makes it managing the pipeline and managing your deals much, much easier. You don't, we can take some of the guesswork out of, well, where should I be? What percentage should I be at? The sales stages will define, and the actions within those sales stages will define where your opportunities should be, and that's going to help with accuracy not only in the opportunities but also in the forecasting. It also makes it consistent, right? We need a common tribal language around how we talk about opportunities and how we talk about deals. Right now, truthfully, we don't. If you thought the old sales process was consistent and consistently used across all the teams, we didn't. So we really wanted to try and fix that and give us a common tribal language again to talk about how we're doing deals. Okay, so with that, here are the new sales stages. If you look at it, it's 10, 25, 50, 75. Part of the reason we do that is you can do the math in your head when you start looking at weighted pipe, right? Take half of something, take quarter of something, take 3/4 of something. So there's a little method there. 10% qualification. I'm going to go through each of these and sort of define at a high level the elements that are inside that. So for qualification, we're really looking for BANT Plus. And what is BANT? It is a acronym that goes way back on qualification, budget, authority, need, and timeline. All of these are not going to be in every single deal, but that's the framework you want to work under. And the plus is, what are the additional things in your business that would qualify an opportunity? The way I think about this is there really a need? Can we solve it? Is it within a project within the next year? And am I talking to somebody who has juice, right? That's a qualified opportunity. Discovery. Discovery is where you've scheduled a face-to-face meeting or a material meeting where you're now getting into, I'm going to show you our stuff, I'm going to talk to you about our value, and we're going to get past that qualification piece and actually get into a real conversation, okay? Diligence. This is where it really, okay, we've gone past we've done a demo, we've sort of gotten, yeah, I like you, you like me, now we're going to get into the deal. You've got executive sponsorship. The budget is approved. You know they have money they can spend. You've identified and have a secured timeline. All of those things are the diligence phase, right? Selected. This is in writing. We have back from the customer, you are the guy I'm going to go and do a deal with, right? You're the company that we've just selected to go and contract with. 90% contracting. You don't get to go to contracting phase, 90%, until you get a red line back from the customer. Very definitive thing, just like on selected. We have in writing, you're the chosen vendor, to 90%. You sending them the contract does not count for contracting. You have to get a response to that. Then you're in contracting. For us just to send paperwork is one thing. For them to respond and actually get us into their procurement process and their red line process, that's what's vital. Deal desk doesn't change all the requirements for the deal desk, which there's a whole separate video and documentation on. All of those requirements are the same. That's really, you've gotten signed contracts back in, you're now going to deal desk to do all the final checks. Finance review hasn't changed. That process is going through the deal desk review. Now finance is reviewing it before they move it to 100%, and 100% is still closed won. Okay? So at a very high level, we have a couple calls coming up where we can get into the more details around these stages. The other thing I'll say about this is, and the requirements inside of this, they're going to change. This is our first shot at this, right? Over the next quarter or so, I'm pretty sure there's going to be other things that come out that we're going to need to change. The other thing when you read through the documentation on these is there's a specific timeline. Let's say typical enterprise deals take about 6 months to do. So if you add days to these, you can start 45, 40, 30, 30, 30. That gets you 180 days fairly quickly to that's a 6-month deal, right? So if things start to sit in stages, and we're going to start watching this, start sitting in stages for too long, we know your deal's not moving along. I truly do want to stress too, forget about how we used to do things. Forget about the old sales stages, the old sales process where if things were in 50%, they counted, regardless of where you were in the deal process, and people hung things at 40% so they wouldn't show up in the pipe. We're going to look at the entire pipeline all the time now. So get familiar with these stages, move your deals accordingly, okay? It's gonna be a lot of questions too, is if you have a deal and you're doing contracts and you're sitting at 50% and you've got red lines back of why this isn't moved to 90%. Okay, other things, renewals, that's always the big question. Renewals will go in, we need to put those at 75% selected to start with, and we'll move forward to that. So this is really for expansions and net new deals. But all the renewals will start at 75%. Why? We have a contract there, we've already been selected, we are the vendor, it's ours to lose. And we'd like a 90+% renewal rate. We're actually handicapping it a little bit already at 75%. So if you think about that, that makes sense. Next thing up, quarter view. So we're gonna move into a new forecasting model, and this will be the topic of another video and sort of other training session. But changing these sales stages out and aligning this to a new forecast methodology are really gonna help us get more accurate, more consistent, and it'll also make it easier to move through the sales stages. All right, so please watch the upcoming videos and attend the trainings that are coming out, and I look forward to talking with all of you soon.